Hello and welcome everyone back to the Dumbass class with me, the Dyslexic Gamer, and my players as always.
Just cut off for you guys too.
Yeah, just cut out there straight away.
So I probably cut out when the YouTuber connected me, because when I started speaking, the app wasn't working, and now my avatar appears. So it probably just cut out for when that activated.
Also, row 20 doesn't work for me. Hold on.
Take two. Let's go.
No. We'll not wait for him. So in the last episode, our group had come to the Sky Tower. They had been introduced to some of the movers and shakers. They'd found out that there is a resentment that runs deep between the two groups that inhabit this area. They were taken into the Sky Tower directly, where they sat through an incredibly long sermon to the God Emperor. They noticed some weird shit was going on. They then left the sermon after a few hours. They investigated the area slightly, found out a few things about the Sky Tower, went to the housing and banking area, which was also the guild area in the old days. They found out that Heinrich Spider could register Heinrich into the Archaeotech facilities recognition software. So Heinrich was registered as a hunter of the Archaeotech era, and Cray, seeing the Archaeotech Spider do this, figured he could do it as well. So he hacked into the system and was able to add him and Cooney's idents into the computer. However, there is part missing. Just to point that out again. Some of the data is put into your profile at the starport. You guys didn't land at the starport, so there's data missing for yours. After registering at the bank and the guild, they went and found some housing within the bank area, or the guild area, where they all took up a room and were shown a video of this area back in its glory days when it was more of an entertainment area. The other doors that the other rooms that people were living in, the doors had been knocked down and new doors had been put on. Yours are the only ones that you know of that you've just opened the door. So you get a couple of hours where you're able to, have a rest, have a wash, clean up, do whatever you want, and then it will be dinner time, where you've been invited to have a meal with the Archdeacon and sisters. Is there anything you guys would like to do in that downtime, or do you just want to get ready and then go to dinner? It's about 2 o'clock time-wise, so you will be eating at 4.
I think I'm good with a little bit of rest for now. I can't recall if there was anything in particular we wanted / needed to do before.
Well, the day before, you didn't actually sleep.
Yeah, so definitely sleep.
Because you were kind of running away from whatever was approaching you, and you stayed up most of the night to drive slowly in the darkness.
I must ask, are they giving us separate rooms, or are we sharing?
They're not giving you guys anything. You've taken rooms because you're registered with the Archaeotech computer that allows members to take up housing within the guild. You're currently working under two systems, unfortunately. There's the Imperial system where they knock down a door and take ownership. You guys actually got let in because you're registered with the guild, which you did last time.
Yeah. Did we have did our room doors work?
Yes. Yes, which is what I've literally did. You opened the doors, everyone else has bashed them down and put new doors up.
Sorry. It's been a few weeks. Um,
Oh, I wonder who's to.
Man, not my fault. I'm sorry, I'm working now, okay?
Having a job. What the fuck's wrong with you?
I was thinking it again. He said it. Marvelous.
don't get stuck in the trap. Don't worry. It's all false. It's all a lie.
Yeah, but okay, and it's fine for me to lock myself in my room and remove my helmet and actually get a good night's sleep
Yes.
without worrying. Oh, yeah, I'm literally just going to ask Heinrich and Cray if they need anything from me, because otherwise I'm just going to go to the room and get some sleep.
I am probably already making my way to the room and sleeping. Just wave it off dismissively.
So, just as a little point of note, as the rest of you all seem to congregate and say, because you were in one person's room just to watch the video, as Cooney and Craig go off to open up a door and go get some rest, you would notice that your room is smaller, Cooney and Craig, whereas Heinrich's room seems to be have a so. Heinrich, you've registered 2 Bettits to your account. So you technically have like there's a corner of the room that has a has like a bath sheet, not a bath sheet. Yeah, basically, yeah, it has a curtain, a divider curtain. That's what it has a divider curtain that there's 2 beds
Privacy
there
screen.
where privacy, yeah. So there's 2 beds there where Muttermouth and Thomas can have a nap or clean their gear or so on and so forth. Heinrich's room is technically larger than everyone else's. As a rogue trader, I'm sure that makes him happy. But sure, you can.
I mean, I'm just going to mention one thing. Cooney has a military background, and Cray is, well, a mechanic. I don't think we're going to mind our rooms too much, are we?
No, just like you might have noticed as you're in Heinrich's room watching the TV, like, so that's what the world was like beforehand. And then you go into your room, so you're like, hang on a minute, why is it so much bigger? What the fuck? Anyway, so you guys bed down for a couple of hours. A couple of hours later, for those of you who didn't wake up in time or have an alarm or what have you, there is a knock at your door, and then the doorbell rings. It's probably a bit uncommon for whoever's knocking. When you do answer it, you'll find that it is a sister and initiate, who is informing you that dinner has been served and to follow her this way. So, as you all follow your sister initiates, you don't leave the guild area. You stay within the guild area, and you make your way out of the housing section. And so I don't know if I quite made out how vastly huge this area is, but it's massive. Just to plot that in there. You come up to an area where it seems as if there is a huge corridor or hallway or a mix of in between, because there's multiple different doors. Some of them are open, and you can see that it's a dining hall for 6. There's another area which is a dining hall for 12, another area that can fit 13, another that can fit 42, and there are these different hallways fitting different size groups. You're led to a grand hallway where there are 2 sisters of battle in full battle plate stood guard. The sisters give a nod of their head, but they don't seem to move otherwise. Cray, can you give me a awareness test, please? As you are led through the doors. It is a grand hallway, dining hall, banquet hall, kind of a deal. Very old school and medieval in aesthetics. The table in the center is, again, a vast dining table, but it's way too big for how many people are seated at the table. So you
Can
have...
I see what age the table is?
Can I get a perception test from you, Cray, as you walk through the past the Sisters of Battle?
Oof.
Okay, no worries. So
Oof.
as the doors are opened and the vast edifice is shown to you, Cray, you take notice of the table and you want to know. Sorry, was it how old the table is?
Yes.
Sure. You can. So as you so give me a perception test with a evaluation. I think it's evaluation.
Evaluate?
Yeah, I think it's evaluate that you roll to.
Can I do evaluate as well? See what these like stuff would priced at? Just out of curiosity.
You can, and it does. Normally, I'm a bit iffy about players rolling on the same rolls because how are you thinking the same thing? But I can see Heinrich as a rogue trader coming in and going, "Oh, is that real wood?" And so, yeah, I can see why you two would make the rolls separately. So
yeah, I could see Cray doing it for mechanical interest and me for profit interest.
Yeah, they're two very different reasons, but both for character reasons make sense. It'd be a bit weird if Cooney then pipes up and goes, "I'd like to evaluate the table as well." Why the fuck do you care?
You know what? Just for shits and giggles,
No, fuck
I
you.
will
You're not
not
allowed.
do it. I said I'm not gonna do it, so fuck you.
Damn it! I said you're not allowed it. You can't do it. So now you have to do it. God damn it. Heinrich, if you could give me an awareness and a evaluate. Craig, can you give me another awareness and evaluate as well?
All right. So awareness. Fucking Jesus Christ! 36 out of 36.
So that is a pass.
And oh damn it! I got distracted. I got 65 instead of 47.
So, seated at the table are so essentially it will go every time there's a Sister of Battle, there is an initiate sat next to them. Sister of Battle, initiate, Sister of Battle, initiate. That's on one side. On the other side, it's a lot of priests who are very, very old. And then it's you lot. Thomas and Muttermouth are here, but they are looking very out of place. The sisters scowl at them, and they try very, very hard to sit in between some of you lot. So they're not sat on the end with a priest. But as you are seated, both Frey and Heinrich get a chance to feel the wood and to rub the underneath of the table to see if it's being worked just as finely. The table is a finely crafted, polished table. It seems to be up to scratch of nobility, Heinrich. For Cray, the polish on this table, you would have thought it was done to Adeptus Mechanicus specs, because it is such a high polish on the wood itself that it is reflective. You would both imagine, because you both did get bonuses on your evaluate tests, because you did succeed.
Okay.
Heinrich, you would think this is within a 500 years old, maybe older. Cray, you would put this table at perhaps 7,000-8,000 as you're touching the back surface. I can't remember if you've got human hands. I think you've got human hands. You can almost feel where the wood
I
almost
still have
seems to have
human hands.
petrified. It almost seems to have been dry and been hit by oxygen and all the other elements inside of a building where it's been protected. It almost feels as if it's petrifying underneath. It is ancient. The food that's laid out on the table is actually not extravagant. They all look like hearty dishes made up of vegetables, grains, and meats, but it's not oversaturated with meat. This is not a nobleman's meal by any means, but it is high class poor people's food, if that makes sense. You're all given a glass of wine and a glass of water. When you're eating, you'll notice, when you are eating, the sisters are taking tiny sips of wine, but drinking plenty of water. All the sisters of battle show signs of battle. Many of them are disfigured, and the initiates are helping them with eating and, cutting food and so on and so forth. There is a prayer to start with, and then the meal proceeds.
Okay.
I'll also point out there's no one sat at the heads of the table. Everyone is sat kind of equally along one side, but it is the Archdeacon and the Sisters of Battle on one side. The priests are more on your side to even up the numbers.
Ah.
The food and wine as it's being replaced, or new dishes are coming out, or when you're sat down and the food is coming out, it's all being given to you by individuals who are fully robed. You can't quite see their faces. They are the exact. You would have seen them before because you saw them in the church when the choir boys, although they're not boys, those individuals are the ones who are serving you.
Okay.
Hold on. Are the choir boys the ones that seemed like they were being pulled because they seemed kind of out of it? Or am I misremembering?
They're not boys. I'm going to keep pointing this out, although I called them choir boys. They were the men, the adults, who were singing in the choir, which that position is
eunuchs.
normally held for choir boys or eunuchs. You do not know if they are eunuchs, but you know they are not choir boys. But yes, Cooney, these were the individuals who were being led by other priests and who had blank stupid facial expressions. No, gaunt, that's the word. They had like blank, gaunt facial expressions.
Can I do they still have that without me rolling, or can I do a roll to see if they still look out of it, like 100% out of it?
So as the food is being placed on the table and the wine glasses are being filled and so on and so forth, you can roll then. Again, their hoods are up, their cowls are covering their faces and hiding their faces. So it is a difficult test, but you can roll. You have a couple of options. You can try to roll a sleight of hand check to then get a bonus on a awareness check, or you can just go with a flat awareness check.
I'll just go with a flat awareness check. I don't have sleight of hand, so. What would be the negative? -10?
It'd be a -20 for the robes, the full
No, I don't get anything.
whatever it is, the concealment.
Obfuscation?
Yeah, obscurvation, not
Obfuscation.
Yeah, that word.
Obfuscation.
But yeah,
None of those works.
Their faces have been obstructed by the hoods to a degree, Cooney, where you can't quite. You can see like their jawline, and you can see their face, which does look slack, but you can't see the whole face. That would tell you if they're, that might just be a professional. They're just delivering food professionally.
No, that's fine.
So as the meal begins, again the initiates are helping the battle sisters. Sips of wine are being taken. Heinrich, this is probably some of the best wine that you've had on planet.
That's not tough. That's not tough competition.
Yeah, exactly. The taste wine is generally it's a very average, plain, boring wine. But it is wine. It is actually wine that has been aged. But
I will do that usual. I will do that like stereotypical thing of I'll do the waft around, take a sip, and yes, like tilt the head back, eyes closed. As I drink it.
The archdeacon, noticing your enjoyment,
Yes, tastes like yes.
I see you are enjoying the fruits of our labor there, Heinrich. We are lacking in some knowledge of the brewer's art, but the God Emperor has blessed us with he swills his wine round and takes a sip. A pleasant drop.
Do not worry. It is swirls and takes a couple of sips from it. It's a very pleasant, very, very, very pleasant concoction you've created, especially from such a reference to the world itself. It's like such a rough world. From the few people we have met on the outside, what little they've been able to create of this is more akin to straight green alcohol. Not good for the eyes,
He laughs and sneers as he takes another sip. Rot gut, yes, we have knowledge of it, and it's not something I would recommend any member of the clergy dabble in, let alone the Imperial Guard at that. But for the communion, for the congregation, a bit of rot gut can keep the masses devout and in line.
Yeah, I must say, it's a cheap product, but although one particular community we came across, to call their beverage rotgut would be an affront to rotgut, if you know what I mean.
He laughs and, oh, I'm quite blessed to not know what you mean, Darius.
Darius?
That's Heinrich. Too many names, too
Wrong
many
one, wrong one.
characters.
I think you got your wires mixed there, buddy.
Because I was hearing about the exploits of a new Darius. Yeah. So he smiles and says his line. We are still experimenting. Obviously, we don't have the grapes of Terra or of other wine producers, but the locally grown fruits have made an acceptable. He swills the glass again, states it again, an acceptable drop. I've only ever drunk communal wine before, and it was indeed far more pleasant, but thankfully I was much younger and didn't have an appreciation for the alcoholic taste.
Ah, yes. It is an acquired taste, but you talk about the local produce and such. I like motion out to the sides of the garden and stuff. We've probably seen on our way in.
Yep.
Yeah, so a very impressive selection and such. The local foliage and such is actually quite fascinating. I must say, there's a type of fruit, the ploid, which has been quite fantastic so far. Honestly, I must say.
One of the battle sisters, who is as she pipes up, she's massively scarred on her face, neck, and the scar descends further, but obviously you can't see in her tunic, can't see through her clothes, unfortunately. She pipes up. She pipes up, and yes, we are quite fortunate here. The local inhabitants had put quite a lot of work into their orchards. We have a decent supply of ploin trees and a number of other local fruits and nuts that we're able to harvest regularly. And since our arrival, we have put far more work into the fields within the Sky Tower's perimeter, as well as increasing our fields connected to the town itself. As she says this, Heinrich, the servants, quote unquote, bring out what appear to be bread rolls, and place them down onto the table. And the sister at that point takes one of the bread rolls and opens it up. Take this, for example. We were able to increase the field production to where the local grain can now be harvested in amounts which are adequate to supply us with a staple food.
I'll nod my head and look very excellent. Great use of resources and a great way to industrialize the local populace.
In
Great.
truth, there were already measures in place when we got here for the sustainability of the original inhabitants of this place. Their workings were quite adequate for their population, but with more modern imperial methods, we were able to increase their output. It was more a question of labor delegation rather than actual horticultural knowledge.
Of course. Well, needs must, and as more people come here, of course, the food production needs to go up. You can't expect to feed so many and so little.
That technically is a negative. He side eyes the deacon. we currently undergo a number of, she again side-eyes the deacon, a number of practices that are not wholly efficient. The population here is quite small, in fact, but again, another side-eye. She picks up her wine, and you would notice that she hasn't actually had any of it. She swills the liquid round in her glass. Certain goods have been requisitioned for more, and again she now glares at the deacon, for more luxurious endeavors. We have also been experimenting with certain foods as well. The deacon here is concerned that we would not have enough storage. Thus, and quite rightly so, should we have to raise the shields and protect ourselves, we may not have access to the fields, sister. And should our assault last many years, or Emperor protect decades, we should have a suitable storage facility that can adequately provide for us. As you can see, we are, the sister, they sound kind of similar, I will try and point out which one's which. The sister pipes up with kind of a defeatist kind of sigh. Therefore, we have put more resources than strictly necessary into the acquisition and production of our food supplies. It has put great strain on our relations with the local inhabitants, but, the Archdeacon, no, never mind. The faithful are always prepared to work in the God Emperor's name. Their hardships may be many, but their outcome, once we raise the shields, will be all the more present, I believe. Of course, the sister. Of course, Archdeacon. She places down her wine without taking a sip.
I will take another sip. And, well, when was the last attack, if you don't mind me asking? I hear great things about these shields, but I'm curious.
The sister goes to speak again, as she seems to be in more of a formal mindset. She broke the vow of silence, so she's kind of carrying on out of habit when the deacon steps in. It has been over 19 years since the shields have been raised. As far as I am aware, they have not been raised since we have been here. But to have the shields prepared to be raised at any moment is only sensible on a world where we are threatened. And he kind of, as he says that, he looks over to, down the aisle towards the sisters. Particularly the sister who spoke out.
Yeah, I'll actually nod my head. Yeah, well, of course. Of course, having the ready defense is always going to be a strategic move. And, a excellent one at that. Although, 19 years.
One of the other sisters pipes up. We do not need the shields to be raised. We have regular patrols outside of our visual perimeter. It may be made up by the shield sisters, but they are adequate enough for our immediate defense. And we have not sent any parties out to explore or to interfere with any local affairs that may still be happening on this world. We have taken a very isolationist stance but it makes sense on a defensive margin. But as for assaults that would require the shields, not since that abominable weapon fired and changed everything. Oh, the sister who speaks is blind, apparently. So as she looks round, you can see that her eyes and a vast part of the top of her face have been badly burnt and scarred away. The initiate next to her is feeding her. Yeah, is feeding her. But she still picked up the wine, knowing exactly where it would be, and swilled it without spilling a drop, and placed it down exactly where it should have been, or where she picked it up from.
Very competent.
Yes.
Okay.
And the blind sister, as we've now given a difference to the two sisters, the blind sister also points out, and with the shields constantly charging, we are unable to use a number of the facilities some of the other facilities within this position. I've fucked up a word somewhere along there, but I'm just going to give up. And what if, the Archdeacon, and what if we cannot use some holograms? They are a wonder, of course, but they serve no immediate value. The blind sister. Then what of the blacksmith and his workshop? I have been informed that he is unable to produce enough weapons, as his facilities are not up to scratch. A few, the Archdeacon, a few swords and spears will not aid us in any true battle. That is where our sisters, you all, are here to defend this place. The blind sister scoffs. And yeah, she's blind. She can't see the Archdeacon. Why not? She then, she scoffs, and in armor that can hardly function, with power packs that are almost drained, Deacon, you put far too much in our ability to hold this facility for any large amount of time. Were we properly equipped and requisitioned, I will hear no more of this. We are entertaining guests and enjoying a meal provided to us by the most noble efforts of the God Emperor. There's another quieter scoff coming from the blind sister. We are in the perfect position to defend ourselves with the shields prepared to be raised. Our weakened state is why I have decided that the shield should be kept as such, which is, of course, the acceptable precisions to go by to protect this hallowed place. The God Emperor acts through us all, sister, but the God Emperor also guides my hand. There's an awkward silence where you feel there should be a scoff, but perhaps out of respect for a rank, there isn't.
I will take a sip and intentionally splutter a little bit. Oh, sorry. Well, if while we are on the subject, I know it's not always the best dinner conversation, but while the subject is still fresh, we could assist in certain regards. We have, I motion to Cray. We do have a Brethren of the Red Robes, when not of Mars, a very much more competent one I have ever met. He should be more than willing and is able to assist with any power fillings, and especially with regard to the shields, he can calibrate them more for you to assist, like we did with certain ships, ships in the navy, ensuring that the proper balance of things are in order.
There's a silence, Heinrich, after you deliver your proposal, where the Archdeacon plays with his food on his plate for a moment, and just as you think a sister is about to speak, he chimes up. Well, the shields are technically not in our purview. You see, the Archdeacon, Odloff, moves his food away, and he places his elbows on the table with no respect for manners whatsoever, and puts his hands together as he rests
Wait, who
his
did this?
chins on his
Deacon?
the Archdeacon. He's put his elbows on the table, and then he's locked his fingers together as he rests his chin on his fingers.
I will look a little bit, like, if he is looking over towards me, I'll when he does that, I will look a little bit quizzically.
You see, the shields and their operation, they are maintained by a group called Mechanics. They are this world's version of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are a different breed, even from your most honourable red-robed member here. He nods politely in the direction of Cray. Whilst they do not seem to have adopted the Vermont belief in the God Emperor's ascension as the Omnisire, Cray, that this would irk you, but
I give him a very intense-looking, angry face.
he ignores you at all costs, staring at Heinrich. They are still most secretive, and well, they tell me that when their commander left to do battle, he placed their facility underneath our very feet. He gestures towards the floor, under what they call the full lockdown. Only those with biometric data registered to the facility's cognate are able to enter. Thus, none of us here have been able to enter the facility. However, the former Archdeacon, may the God Emperor protect him, you'd notice all the sisters stop eating and place a hand. They do basically a half Aquila and lower their heads. Give me a perception check, Heinrich. No, would it be perception or scrutiny? Or insight?
Either or for me, honestly, because both of them are the same.
Okay,
Insight, maybe?
Give me an awareness. Is there
I don't have insight, actually.
There isn't an insight. Okay. So I guess it would be scrutiny then. Is there even a scrutiny? Yes, there is, but it's an advanced. So if you could give me a scrutiny, if you have it.
No, scrutiny is basic. Scrutiny is basic, just over search. Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Never mind.
Flat or the plus?
Yeah. Scrutiny.
Ooh.
You notice the Archdeacon his face gives just a hint of displeasure at how the sisters all stop eating and do a half aquila and bow at the former archdeacon's title and name. So, unfortunately, yes, we do not have access to the facility, but the arrangement was that we would protect this cathedral to the God Emperor until they returned. Of course, they never returned, and Jack, who is the eldest of the mechanics, has refused our entry under any circumstances. He claims that he cannot grant us access, but this is a lie, surely. He is just protecting what he does not want to fall out of his control.
I'm making a small mental note here. You go find and talk to this Jack person. Also, if it's because of the because of the Cogite access, Gray, maybe something.
Oh, the deacon will ruin his verse.
Wait. Is there any possibility that this is just me thinking? Is there any possibility that we technically already have access because
No.
we're now in the system?
No, you are
Yes.
you are connected to a entertainment side of this world's facility. You're not connected
Yeah,
to
but I
the
can probably hack
military.
into it.
To the military
I can
side
probably hack
of
into
this.
the military side.
It's a possibility, but I don't want to. I don't want to risk it.
I will
they're
just point this out,
Either
Craig.
way, we'll talk
In
with the sisters in private later.
Craig, in your diving into the computer system for this facility, you didn't see any military programming. You were hacking into a civilian system.
Yes.
So you never saw a military anything connected to
the systems are going to be separate.
system. So
For sheer security reasons, the systems are going to be separate.
yeah.
Yeah, you can still go there and find it.
What?
We can still go and find the military systems and chat up the Sisters of Battle.
The
I won't
one
be
of
right
the
back.
sisters pipes up, not the blind one, the just scarred up one. She pipes in with, our war gear has gone far too long without basic repair, maintenance. Our power packs have not been charged. There is months of work that needs to be done. We have kept it in as best condition that we can, but there are certain elements that your priesthood keeps secret. She gives Cray an absolute disdaining look, but this particular sister has had a look of absolute repulsion ever since the Fetits entered. And now it's just got worse that she has voiced the fact that yes, they have to the Mechanicus fucked them. Well, the Archdeacon. Well, I'm sure the tech priest that is attached to Master Heinrich here doesn't have months to spend repairing the war gear as it is, but of course, if
I can do it for the right price.
he ignores that. If Heinrich would deem it a acceptable request to assist the ecclesiarchy of the Imperium of Man, he says quite directly towards Cray, then that would be a blessing upon all of us.
So real quick, I only caught a little bit of that because I had to get up for a second. All I know is one of the sisters is very pissed off. Or not, has got the resting bitch face, but it's got worse. Cray offered to spend months repairing equipment, but Deacon ignored him, and I called Master Heinrich. Sorry, I just sat back down.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So the Sisters of Battle. So a quest line for this area is called Slow Moving Armor. The Sisters of Battle, all their armor's basically fucked.
Right.
They haven't undergone proper maintenance or repair. What the fuck? Oh, sorry. God damn. I thought all my quests were deleted then. I clicked on the wrong tab. Oh, thank fuck for that. Oh, thank fuck, yeah. So, yeah, slow moving armor. The Sisters of Battle need help fixing and charging their battle plate. It is months of work to get all of their equipment up to fixed standards, but that does mean that you guys can pass up time in this facility at one point, fixing up armor, whilst others do learning quests.
Yeah, I'm as he brings up the idea, I'll kind of lean back. I'll lift my glass to that. And of course, I'm more than happy to assist every aspect of the Imperium we come across left across this cursed land. I say that, but I have borne a little bit of admiration and respect to some of the local peoples and such. It's strange, but interesting. But yes, we're more than happy to assist when and if we can. Of course, all good deeds evoke something in return, but
the Archdeacon smiles, and then he hears about you basically saying what Cray said, just in a more flowery terms, and the smile leaves, and yes, I'm sure things could be arranged.
Again, big smile on my face.
So I'm just going to grab a beer. I'm just going to grab a beer. If you guys want to have a discussion as characters, if you want to ask anything else to the group, because I know Cooney is probably not going to get many good replies if she opens her mouth. So,
I'm happy just being quiet, man. This is not my scene. No, just stay right here in the background.
I'm sitting here. I'm enjoying this. Also, I can't enjoy anything because my helmet's on. I sit at the fucking table without it up.
I'm wondering how they would react to me recruiting all their mechanics and inducting them into the proper mechanics.
I'm very, very curious because that's the thing though. Their paramechanics are one, they're technomats, so the local folk trained in the ways of technology, but they're not. They're going to predate the Mechanicus. Their teachings and shit like that will probably come from the Dark Age technology shit.
I would think they would more from the Rogue Raiders that land.
No, they're not from they're the locals.
I thought they were Rogue Raider personnel.
Nope, they are the locals. They are the original inhabitants of this world.
The locals, the people who have actually survived on this planet for generations and shit. A lot of their information is probably a lot of their fucking teaching and stuff. They're not going to be devotees to the machine gun or anything. But it could be interesting to see how shit has developed because they probably have their own traditions and shit.
You say that, but why is this in a shithole? Out of character.
This place isn't a shithole.
It is most certainly not.
So just to alliterate, this area is still very much in working condition, except from the power drain. The power drain is what has kept most of the systems offline and kept everything at a power drain level. Like the lights are all a little bit, dimmer. Everything's like that. The inside of this place is immaculate. the town itself is still in really, really, really good condition. All the people are in good condition. It's just the technology side, like the advanced technology, is all underground. So you're currently in an amusement park, which is why things don't look completely archaeotech. They look more like medieval. Yeah, this is the one place that you've been to so far where it's actually kept in tip-top repair.
I'm going to add something in there as well from the little speech bit. Of directing it towards the Sisters of Battle. It's a smart idea to ensure that the sword that defends us is as sharp as the shield that protects us. If the shield is tended to already, we may as well look after the sword. Is correct?
The sisters kind of, they look like they want to say something, but they don't. The blind one speaks up for them, and immediately the archdeacon stares at them. Let me just have, okay, right. That might be true, rogue trader, but is it not also true that 1,000 tiny cuts can fell the largest of foes? As it stands now, we are limiting ourselves to mere hundreds of cuts. And is it not also said that the best defense is an almighty offense?
Yes, true. The best defense is a good offense, because if your shield works, the person may continue to hit you. If you poke them with a sharp stick, you'll deter them from striking you again. And I have seen the ingenuity of some of the local people of this world, not the ones from this campment, mind you. I'm not sure, but I'm sure you'll stand up for them yourself if if and when they have assisted you in the past. The people are a hardy bunch. This planet is strange. It defies my knowledge of classification, in truth, but for the most part, it's primarily feral, death world. The seasons, everything is strange. People are the locations are seasonally locked due to strange machinations of ancient technology. The people themselves have adapted in different areas. Pardon the term at the dinner table, but the certain twists as well. They're a strange people, I must say. But and you spoke there of the blacksmith. Why can't his swords assist if he is more than willing to assist not only the Sisters of Battle but the ecclesiarchy? Why shouldn't he? We're not collecting a tithe here at the moment, are we?
The blind sister. A steel sword cuts only so deep, and she turns her head, and it almost looks like that with her scarred and blind eyes, and it's proper fire damage. So the fact that she still has eyeballs is kind of a miracle in itself. But her eyes seem to go eye to eye with the dark archdeacon. A sword may cut deep, but a nano blade cuts deeper. And your folly with the shields prevents us from manufacturing more. You are quite correct, Heinrich. Your evaluation of the people in this town is correct. They are hardy, well-trained and disciplined. Even I can hear it in their voices. But give them sharp sticks and they die like pigs. But they do not need to fight, sister, if we raise the shields. You all talk about offense as if it will protect when the enemy comes. But again, a sharpened piece of steel will not protect against something that eradicated our forces before. The blind sister slams her closed fist onto the table. You were not there. You did not see it. If that projectile, that weapon, had hit this tower, it would not stand. You believe the shields will protect against what I would describe as Titan weaponry. I disagree.
I'm actually when she mentions the Titan weaponry, that's when Heinrich perks up more, sets the glass down, and starts to lean close in. They brought Titan weaponry against you, Ordinatus.
That is it, isn't it, sister? The Archdeacon. You don't know. I have seen it. Maybe not on this battlefield. I have seen the destructive power. And yes, her head turns back to you, Heinrich. I would have said it was a Titan weapon, but there were no Titans on the battlefield. A shockwave hit us, blasting us, throwing us aside. The heat and flash that came before it. No words can describe. No vision could be saved that saw it. But yes, I would say it was a Titan weapon. But where it came from, I do not know. South.
Sounds almost nuclear.
No, I have seen nuclear blasts from missile projectiles. This was more of a beam, if anything. But as I said, one moment I was on my feet, a blinding flash, heat, and a wave. The flash and my vision was gone, the heat and my skin burned, the wave and I took flight. Not from my legs carrying me, but from the wind pushing me away from my sisters, who died instantly. Whilst you, she turns her head again, precisely to where the Archdeacon is sat. Again, he sat on the same line of chairs, so she has put her head out along the table and looked back. Looked across, rather.
Like an echolocation.
Yeah. Sorry, I had the line and then it kind of left. I was going to finish with the line. Yeah, no, that basically that is it. As she stares down at the Archdeacon. But if you wish to know more, speak to the blacksmith. He will show you his workshop. And you'll see that this town, all of its visual appearances, is not some run-down backwater feudal dirt farm. We could produce weapons here if we had the power. Also, as a reminder to the group of something that I believe they found a couple of episodes ago, you currently have an Archaeotech device, which is a perpetual motion engine, which can power up a city block. So, you know.
Yeah, they might have gotten it nicer, so we will keep that one in the pocket, and I own it. It's in my pockets.
It's probably in your room right now.
This is a hint.
Oh yeah, no. I almost want to just take it aside with Cray for a moment here, but I can't really do that at the table without breaching etiquette.
Well, we do have our most microbeats.
No, but
you can
even then,
excuse yourselves. You can
yeah.
retreat to the rest room. Or you can bring these
Last time I
matters
did
up
that,
later.
everything was paced, so I have bad memories of that.
Yeah,
I
true.
think we should talk. I will probably have mounted this already to the combat in a very low voice. But we should talk to the Sisters of Battle in private later.
Yeah, I'll not respond vocally just in case like it doesn't draw attention. I'll just nod if Craig glances in my direction. You see,
I want to use it for our side, but out of character. Anyway,
yeah,
let's go.
I'm seeing a recurring pattern in these discussions. If I can be frank, and it's a recurring issue that I've seen in a few settlements now on this world. There are things locked away from the dark age of technology in this world. This planet is extremely strange, ancient, and far more advanced than it would ever actually seem. Perhaps there is something here that we can't see at the moment, and the locals have forgotten to local legend, but there must be something else here that is I can see the possibility through cooperation that all sides in this can come out with their preferred outcome for the good of the Imperium, after all. We are the last bastion of his will on this world, in a sense. There are others who do follow the Emperor, but maybe not to the exacting specifications to some. However, it seems it's my goal now to unite them from the small sect of Mechanicus we have encountered previously to yourselves and possible more. Strange. So it's almost a microcosm of the Imperium, don't you think?
The Archdeacon looks shocked. The Adeptus Mechanicus survived?
A sect of them. A small group. At least to our knowledge. There could be more, there could not be. We have met the remnants of a Imperial regiment who were all driven mad.
The sisters stay quiet, the Archdeacon. Yes, yes. We've had reports of them. They have seemingly stayed away from this area more or less. But yes, we know of them.
Well, allow me to confirm your reports. They do tend to stay away from this region because they can't. They are too busy. How do I put it? Extorting some settlements to the northeast. They march around still in a lockstep. Some of their old training seems to be reminiscent in their minds, but they barely speak a word of Gothic. More a variation of gutter tongue.
How awful for former Imperial citizens to end in such a twisted fate.
Very, very. My mind flashes back to the thing I don't know that came out of that commander's head, but out of character I know is a fucking nurgling. And I sit there and look at my glasses, I swirl it for a moment or two. If anyone wasn't really paying attention, they'd probably notice me shudder as I think of it. And just slam back that some of the wine. So I do believe there is a possibility of cooperation. After all, I would like to help you as best I can, and I'm sure you want to assist me as well. Correct?
Oh, but of course, us Imperial citizens must aid each other in these dark times. And I can assure you the Ecclesiarchy will remember any such aid that is rendered.
Of course. May I be excused for a moment? I need a bit of air.
But of course, the sisters all demasculate you, Heinrich, as you go to get up. They all stand for you, and you think to yourself, "Hang on a minute, that's what you do when a woman leaves." What? You leave feeling a little bit puzzled and yes, demasculated.
If they stand up when I stand, I'll. If they stand up when I turn to stand, it's like, oh no, I don't need an accompaniment. As interesting as it would be, I'm sure none of you are of that interest. I will just take a breath outside. I will be back.
So they are stony faced as you say that. But one of them is gullible enough to mention it. It's only protocol. The others look at her as if, "Oh, Gladys, you fuckwit."
I chuckle and no, thank you, Gladys. It's fine. Did they actually say it? No, they didn't say it, did they? They just kind of looked at her.
Yeah, they were like, well, no, they just looked at her. They probably wouldn't be like, "You fuckwit."
I'll chuckle and don't worry. I understand the protocol and such. I'll be back in a moment or two, and I will get up to not only use the restroom, but I will actually stand outside for a moment and clear. Heinrich is going to take a moment to clear his head. I'll shoot a message over to Cray and keep me updated on what they're saying. Don't vocally respond. Just keep me updated on what they're saying and chime in if necessary.
Cray, as soon as Heinrich leaves, it goes really awkward. It's really awkward. There's like this awkward tension in the air as no one really wants to talk to you or Cooney or the Fettits. So there's just a sound of people eating and drinking.
I probably just start solving prime numbers in my mind or going over maintenance schemes.
I'm thinking, so Muttermouth and Thomas are well aware they're not welcome here, so they're going to keep quiet. I imagine Cooney gets that feeling as well. And Cooney's not eating anything, so Cooney's just there with a helmet on, sat at the table, like,
I'm literally just like, yes.
Awkward. At her food with a fork on. Poke, poke, poke.
Like some of the initiates. Some of the initiates who aren't as well trained are staring at Cooney and Cray like as if they want to ask questions, but they know the sisters who are sat next to them will drill them to death. Will be like, you need to run laps until you die. How dare you speak to a Mechanicus? And that mutant freak and those other things? No.
Oh. Okay. Well, I will spend 2 or 3 minutes outside catching my breath and just thinking on how to proceed. But if I were to step outside, would it just be like a small
So if you're going to the toilet, so in this area there would be, you can stay in the same large dining hall, and you can go off to the toilets, you can go off to a smoking room, you can go off to, there are like parlor rooms connected to the main dining room. There probably, because this is one of the larger ones, there probably is even a little outside courtyard bit. If you were to go out the main door, you're going past the two sisters of battle in power armor into this large hallway corridor thing with loads of doors connecting. So it's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to stay
Oh.
in that area or not.
I'll use the restroom first, and I will actually like physically go outside. So I will like try and get fresh air. I'll make note and nod to anyone who like looks at me quizzically or whatever else. But I just need to go outside and step aside somewhere private for a moment or two.
No, that's fine. So you're in like this bathroom area that has a corridor that leads to a parlor room, a smoking room, and a balcony. So you go on to the balcony, get some fresh air. There's no one really who can see you. You can see a bit of what's going on outside. So you can see some a large vegetable patch and a large orchards at the side, with some people, tending to the plants.
Okay. Where is Peeper, by the way?
He is technically on your back or on your shoulder. He's still with you.
I'll motion for Peter Peeper to like step to one side, or like sit on the edge of the balcony with me for a second.
He does as you motion or command.
And he can communicate to me directly with the comm bead, right?
Yes.
Peeper, what information did we gather from the guest book on this on this place? I know it is a bit of a trifling, a bit of an adventure zone and such, but what were the details there? What were the details of the quests and such?
So it there's a bit of a robotic Siri-esque voice that comes through. So when it says, so it tells you a little bit about the registration, gives you some information about your class and your two servants, brings up the quest board, which all the quests that were last posted would all be out of date.
Yeah.
The date that's given, you don't actually understand the date that's given, because it's such an old date. It predates the imperial dating system to where it's numbers, and you're like, huh? But that doesn't add up to, oh, well, anyway. So it's things like assist with a problem in, so all the towns, so this is basically a city, quote unquote. It's not, but it is. There are towns and villages that it tells you. So I'm going to use numbers, but they would have names. So it's go to town 1 and resolve an issue in their fields. Go to town 2 and deliver supplies. Go to town 3 and investigate the disappearing fetits. And then it will give you a little bit more breakdown. So with the disappearing fetits, so in a coastal town down to the south, fetits have been disappearing at night. Investigate and find out what's been happening, and then you gain guild points. It says a quest reward, but it basically says like guild points. It says things that you don't really understand.
Just kind of, and the guild points and such. What do they build to?
So again, a male-sounding Siri voice comes through your microbead, and it brings up a number of items or a number of points. However, every item that it mentions at the end, it says out of stock. So for 40,000 points, a power sword can be acquired. For 97,000 points, this type of sniper rifle can be unlocked. At this many points, this armor can be purchased, and so on and so forth. But everything it says out of stock.
And was there something about the inner hall with that as well?
The inner hall?
So the inner hall with all the statues of the previous players and such? Was that a points reward kind of thing?
No, that was an achievements. So once you achieve certain goals or you unlock certain titles, you can be placed into the Hall of Heroes at different levels. So
I'm just wondering, is okay. As I get the information stuff, I'm sitting there. Okay, all right. So how were they redeemed, or how can we redeem these points and such? How do we receive them?
So it's kind of like a tutorial page opens up, so not opens up. A tutorial page is being read off for you. That's kind of how it sounds like, and it tells you that points are acquired via completing quests. Via completing quests, you can gain guild points. Guild points can then be used to purchase weapons or upgrade weapons at local shops, blacksmiths, or warehouses. And then it goes on to all the goods and services that points can be used to acquire. So you can acquire drugs, you can acquire medicines, ammo, specialist equipment, and weapons armor, vehicles, and so on.
Okay. I think Jim forgot the mute. Okay, right. So I'm just pondering things in my head there. Just a strange thought came into my head as I had Heinrich stand up and walk outside for a moment, and it's just going to turn to paper. And just, is there any way for you to manipulate the achievements, ranks, and such from here?
It processes for a moment, and negative can make requests from head. So it would say something which is a very alien to you, but it would essentially say something like, head GM, I can make requests from head GM for quest requests, for updates, for new refreshes, etc.
Okay.
But to interfere with the guild point acquisition system would require mainframe access.
Then, right. Okay. Then I'm gonna ask you to put in a request for an update to the quest log.
confirm request, processing. Request filed, file failure, error, slash hyphen village mainframe computers non-responsive equipment data variables unaccessible processing refresh request has been accepted request refresh request will process in 5 to 6 days.
So it did get accepted.
So it failed to get data from the villages to fill out certain quests, but it is going to generate them regardless.
It's going to overflow into the ones that are available.
So normally it might say that, you know, for you to get a request for labor or for you to get a request for minerals is the town saying we need more of X, and then you could get a fetch quest to go and deliver X to that location. So those quests, it seems as if aren't being processed because they don't know what the town needs, but it is going to process some quests for you that will be not specifically to any particular group. It's just the games generating quests for you.
Okay, so yeah, that's part of the thing that I was looking for. So it did accept the request and it has created. So there's an element of automation to it.
Correct.
Right. Is there any way to put a direct request to the, as it stated, the head GM?
People looks at you. A voice comes through your microbead that says GM connection offline. Requests can be sent and on and when the GM comes online, they will be evaluated.
Okay. So head GM is right. Head GM is a physical person, though. Right. Potentially. Could potentially be something else. Right. Okay. I'm intrigued. I'll ask him to update me when these things pop in. I want to see what kind of things it has taken upon itself. It is starting to sound like one of those like games that the nobility would create for themselves. Like their own little LARP fucking thing. So it makes sense. it is putting like 2 and 2 together for for Heinrich. Sorry, now you got me doing it. Maybe it's something similar to like some like house he's seen before, where the nobility have created this like LARP game for their children, or for the nobility's children, to get them into like to learn like the basics through a gamified way of things.
Oh, 100%. The idea of a hunting world for nobles to go in, it was not my own creation. They do actually exist in the Imperium.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, your character's line of thinking is completely correct there.
Okay. But it's just from the strangeness of the technology of this world is why I'm kind of thinking like I think there might be something more to the game itself in that regard. But yeah, something to delve into deeper. For the moment, I'm going to take a deep breath, look out over the vegetables and the fruits. Who's out there working at the moment? You said there was like some of the
yeah, some of the local population. Sorry, not the local population. Some of the
acolytes and stuff.
So yeah, it would be the young, like teenagers, and those who are not yet Shield sisters, and not yet priests. So they would all be younger individuals with maybe the odd, much older priest dotted in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the older priest looks up, I'm going to wave at him.
No, they all seem
know
quite. They all seem quite enraptured with their works. No one's really looking around. They're probably not used to people being on those balconies either, as well.
Fair enough. What am I? Let me just double check something here real quick. I forgot I give my fucking self the Casper ident for the fucking game.
Yeah, you did actually.
Okay. Hang on. Cray, you said that perpetual motion thing is set up in your room, right?
No, he has it on him. It's not set up in his room. You know.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was like slightly larger. Fair enough. I didn't realize he actually had it in his pocket.
Well, I don't actually know where he keeps it. I know he has it. So
you know that Tesseract thing we couldn't find last time? Yeah, he has that as well.
It all vanishes under the red robes.
like a bag of holding. It's like a bag of holding.
Yeah, it is forbidden to look under the tech priest's robes for a reason. If you took a peek, all the stuff just falls out. Okay, I'll just have a little smile to myself and go back inside. And as I walk back in, do they stand up and to try and demasculate me again?
Yeah, they do. They stand up as you get to the table. And you're like, God damn it, I'm sure this is my role.
No. As they stand up, I was like, no, I'm not fazed by it. I'm like, as Heinrich walks in, and they do the thing where they stand up again. I was like, I see you didn't start the party without me. Perfect. I'll step back down again. Where were we?
Heinrich, as you walk in, the tension and the awkwardness is just heavy in the room. So maybe playing a joke, as you sit down is correct.
As I walk through the door, I feel like I'm walking through pea soup with the tension.
Yeah, it's like you get to the door, and as you open the door, it's like, wow, these doors feel heavy. What's going on? And you walk in, you're like, oh, I see.
Gravity's like 5 times heavier in here. Jesus Christ. Emperor Christ.
Was there anything you wanted to bring up with them at the moment? If not, the meal will come to an end.
No, I'll just compliment on the gardens, and I'll make a note of. I do apologize for my excusing myself there, but I hope to talk to you about further subjects later on. But shall we continue with the meal?
So the meal continues. There is obviously some back and forth chit chat that happens, but for now, all the big points are covered. A fruit salad is served for dessert, and recaf is followed after that, or a form of no recaf. They do have recaf on this world. The Archdeacon does not have the recaf. He excuses himself and informs you, Heinrich, that he always finds it best to, after a meal, to undergo excoriation and to give thanks to the Emperor. So he excuses himself, where the sisters all stand up so that he may leave, and he looks forward to the next meeting, the next meal. Or time that you two can spend together. He leaves, and there's an audible, like you can see the sisters kind of their posture kind of slouches for just an instant before getting back to kind of parade. No, we are sisters of battle. We're stronger than this.
There was a group sigh as everyone just goes,
yeah, as he leaves. A number of the other sisters also excuse themselves at this point, stating that they have duties to attend to and so on and so forth.
Okay. I take it one of the ones that spoke out when I stood up is one of them.
Yes, yeah. The main sister, Sister Eleanor, she excuses herself but informs you, Heinrich, that should you wish to continue conversations, she will be easy to find should you need her. She also informs you that it's around this time that the mechanics might be found in the pub. And she leaves.
I will stand up and thank her for the information and give her a nod. Well, don't worry, I will find you for more conversation soon.
The last sister to remain is the blind one, and she stands up when the whatever her name was leaves. Emily, was it Emily? Probably got that wrong.
Elena?
Elena.
Elena?
Yeah, Elena.
Elena?
Eleanor. The blind sister leaves, and with a smile, she, "Forgive me for my prudence. I dislike to chit-chat." Her initiate bows towards you, Heinrich, before leading the sister away.
As she stands up and doesn't want to ideally chit chat, I'll stand up and I'll bow back and also mention apologies, but I am reciprocating and I do thank you. I do enjoy knowing of others who know what they want, even if they can't speak freely all the time.
She doesn't, as she walks off, she doesn't speak back to you, Heinrich, but she does walk, like her pace kind of changes. There's a bit more swagger to her walk, if that makes sense. So approval is given through body language alone.
I'm just muttering to myself, probably just loud enough for anyone who wants to hear. I do love a woman who knows what she wants.
So
Irex around actual Imperial citizens, he can be a little bit more of a horn dog again. He doesn't have to fuck a mutant.
well, at least now you have some options available. So we probably won't go to, like, the next episode will be in the pub or outside, and you'll walk to the pub. But I think for now, that's almost where we're going to end the episode. Go through a few little bits. So the quests that you have available to you at the moment. You have pick a side. You already kind of gathered this, but there's a couple of factions in this place. You need to pick a side between the local inhabitants and the ecclesiarchy, but also there's a middle ground option as well. You have power drain. So Odleth wants to keep the shields almost fully charged so that they can be raised quickly. You haven't had this part of the quest yet, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. When you meet Jack, he doesn't like this at all, and he wants the shields to be decharged immediately. So you guys need to either fix the power problems or lower the shields so they're not charging constantly. You have power supply. You'll find this one out next time as well, but I'm just going to give it to you anyway. The Sky Tower needs resources and manpower. They are under garrisoned and under resourced. But you'll find out what resources they actually need next time. Lost Honor. This is actually an easy quest, but it's going to take you some time to do. The Sisters of Battle want their relics back. Any relics that you find of the Sisters of Battle, they would like them returned. This will give you special Sister of Battle perks. Slow
Okay.
moving armor. Help the sisters fix their armor and charge their power cells. And this quest you don't actually know about yet, but you'll find out soon enough. So fix her up. Jack, the mechanic, needs archaeotech parts to fix the sky tower, because spares and repairs are hard to come by when you're dealing with archaeotech stuff.
Okay.
So you have a number of quests to be done for this area. Some of them are really quick. Some of them are going to take a lot of time for you to actually do. Like the fixing the armor one, that's going to take you like 3 months in game to actually fix everything. But you have other stuff to do, like training. I'm
Okay, fair
also
enough.
going to add on something else. So, from this point on, each of you will be allowed to bring 3 NPCs with you. And that's whenever. You can always have 3 personal guards with you. Each of you has a specialty for your given class. So, for Cooney, unfortunately yours is probably the most boring, but the most standard to your class. You can make warriors. So your bodyguards will be far better at, technically because you're a tower, it's shooting. But you can
Shooty.
you could
Bang,
train
bang.
them up to use better equipment, have better ballistic skills, but to also be able to perform a lot of the actions that your NPC in Rogue Trader, in Only War would be able to do. So
Okay.
if you need to leave somewhere to be defended and have a commander in charge of the defenders, Cooney, you could add one of your trained bodyguards to that group. And then they have basically a named NPC to help them defend areas. This will also help
Yeah.
later on when I start rushing you guys with more enemies. You have a few more allies that you can control.
Fair enough.
These are added to your NPC section within your character sheet.
Nice. Okay.
Each type of human, or later on, I guess, alien, that you have will be different. So at the moment, you could only have Izmirians. So you get a standard Izmirian, and you get to upgrade a standard Izmirian. That's not the best start to have. But
Hey,
you've got unlimited
is
of them. So
every journey starts with a single step.
Or in this case, single inbreed.
for Heinrich, your specialty will be command. So your NPCs is going to be easier for you to be able to train up their command and their abilities to lead. So they will be able to lead your defenses better. They're not going to be as good at fighting, but they'll be able to do things like what you can do with giving a +10 to NPCs.
Okay, so a leader that can create more leaders. That's a good leader.
Yeah, pretty much. For yours, Heinrich, you'll be able to upgrade yours to a point where they become full-on NPCs, where it's the overseer of Izmir. So they will be upgraded to be overseers.
Awesome. Okay.
For Cray,
Yes.
Cray gets servitors. I mean, can you have a guess? So for Cray, you are only allowed to bring a set number of combat servitors in with you. If you somehow get, I don't know, an Archaeotech Praetorian Ogren servitor to follow you round, you only get 1. You can't have 3 huge combat servitors that follow you round. But you will be in charge of all the group servitors. So you will also be able to make them. So as long as you get enough components, you will be able to take deceased humans and turn them into monotask servitors. If you can get better equipment, you can turn them into multitask servitors. A multitask servitor will be your standard for getting combat servitors. So we'll be using the Rogue Trader book for the types of servitor that you can get. But this will help you when you start to do manufacturing. You can get the servitors to make the roads, for example. And you already know a place where you can get servitor components from. So that will give you guys a bit more management of the areas and have NPCs that you guys trust and have built to be good at X, Y, and Z of your own specialties. Yeah, it gives you all something that you can work on, and you can have your own NPCs. Later on, so for Cooney, it's a bit more of a shit one, because do you want to spend money on the Izmirians? Actually, same with Heinrich. Once you get good enough with this settlement, you'll be able to get sisters, shield sisters as your standard template.
Are we able to kind of switch them out, kind of thing? Like, so say I take an Izmirian with me and I level them up a good bit, and then it gets to the point where I can take a step up in the quality of follower. Can I then have him stand down and basically take up a primary NPC role in Izmir again?
So for you, Heinrich, you will have that option if you take them to the Overseer. If you take them to the Overseer position, they become, like, you will get to name them. So
okay.
Marcus is now the Overseer of Izmir. So Anus has lost his position. He's no longer the Overseer.
No, Anus has got a promotion, got an actual name rather than just Anus.
But he becomes the Overseer of that. So all the XP you've put into him, or all the money or resources, he still lives. If you're just doing, I want my bodyguards, my 3 followers, to have a melee improvement. So you pay for a melee improvement. That melee improvement is applied to any and all NPCs that you get. So when you get the Shield Sisters, they then get the +5 to weapon skill that you've bought for them. So for Cooney, hers will swap out when she gets access to new people. For you, Heinrich, if you've upgraded them to Overseer, they become an Overseer. And then you're not taking Overseers with you, Heinrich. You're leaving them in specific places.
Yeah, if I make an Overseer, they're going to be, and they're basically going to be a mayor or governor kind of thing.
Yes, but all Overseers...
I'm feeling an officer's hat now, like a police hat.
But all your... So, if, for example, Heinrich wants to have melee bodyguards, he will then pay for a melee upgrade. So his 3 NPCs will be in the Sky Tower for 1 month, and they'll get a bonus to their melee skill, their strength or toughness, and then you can pick a skill that goes with them as well, and that will take a month. That will cost you like 400 XP, and then they have the melee upgrade. And then if you want the command upgrade, you pay X amount of time. They get, and this also then gives Cray the time in which he can repair the armor for the sisters, whilst your NPCs are training and you're training your NPCs, and it just, I figured it would work out better if everyone had things to invest time into.
Just like Todd would say, it just works.
So again, for Cray, for Cray will be buying the template for servitors, so he automatically has access to Omni. What's the ones that can only do one task at a time? Omnitask? Yeah.
Monotask?
Mono.
Yeah.
So Cray can automatically make monotask servitors. If he goes to the Adeptus Mechanicus, for the stuff he's already provided to them, he can get a multitask servitor blueprint. Once he has that, he can make unlimited, as long as he has the parts to make them. Cray will have to buy the blueprints for combat servitors. So if he wants to make ballistic servitors, he pays 300 XP. He gets the blueprint. He can make as many as he has components for. So that's where Cray's is a bit different to your guys's. He'll just have to spend time, and obviously get the meat sacks as well. So yeah. So that's the add-on that we'll be adding onto the game from now on. There's another one which I'll bring up next week when you go over the what Izmir can do for you. No, not Izmir. What the Sky Tower can do for you.
What Izmir can do for you.
Izmir's already doing things for you. Sky Tower's not.
I like to think this is
It's not
literally
what we
just
can
people.
do for them. It's what they can do for us.
Think none of what you can do for you, but what you can do for us.
Yeah,
I like to think this is literally just Peeper updating the fucking quest log now.
Yeah, kind of. But that is where we will end our episode off for this week. I certainly hope everyone has enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to future episodes to come. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. We are now on Tuesdays as our game day, as an update here. Yeah.
Never noticed.
Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, everyone, and as always, bye-bye for now.
Bye.
See ya.